to the trunk show. I do need to remind you to make sure your cell phones are turned on.
Turned on.
Off. Turned off. Okay, we are going to not be wearing our masks when we are talking on the stage. Sorry, I have to put my hearing aid back in. Okay, this is a trunk show review of life at Applewood since 2016, when we last had our the 25th anniversary. If all goes as planned, we will be merging, our wonderful co-director Nancy is going to be merging 270 odd slides with skits and songs. If it doesn't go as planned, we'll be seeing her learning and retirement presentation on ancient Egypt. Cross your fingers. It's looking good so far. Most of us, in getting ready for Applewood, have spent time on Christine's wait list. Some of the issues you might recognize include having to make choices. What were you going to do with that bare apartment? Our first skit.
Hello. Hi. Good morning, Rebecca. This is Christine from Applewood. I have a Spencer apartment available for you.
Oh my, that's great. It's our favorite model. When can we come to Applewood to choose our finishes?
During this pandemic, it wouldn't be advisable. Even before the paperwork is drawn up, I can give you a virtual tour of the apartment and the renovation options available. Let's set up a Zoom session in 2 hours.
Sure.
High tech. High tech.
Hi, Rebecca. If you're ready, here we are in the kitchen.
Oh goodness, do all the cabinets do all the appliances have to be white?
Oh no, as we renovate the apartments, residents can choose between white, black, or stainless steel appliances, coil or glass cooktops, and refrigerators with bottom or top freezers.
Oh great, well, I'd really like stainless steel appliances and a refrigerator with a freezer on the bottom.
Sure, I can do that.
And could I possibly change out the countertops and the type of cabinets?
Sure, I can do that. This is a total gut job. Here are the samples of cabinet fronts for the new cabinets in a range of color choices. And these are the options for the countertops. Can you see them well enough?
Oh yes, I can see them. I love the white shaker. And what about having mostly drawers for the bottom cabinets? And a garbage drawer?
Sure, I can do that.
And any chance we could have like white tiles, like a subway tile for the counter backsplash? Or is that asking for too much?
No, that's fine. We can do that.
Oh, and how about, let me see, oh, double sinks and vanities in the bathroom?
Sure, let me look into that with the contractor.
You're amazing. So willing to make things work for us to move in and make our wishes come true in our new home. We've told our kids about you and your can-do attitude, you know. They've never met you, but whenever any kind of problem needs solving, they now say, ask Christine. I feel like we may be the most difficult people you ever had to deal with, though.
Not by far. One time I had a couple arrive for a tour. Just as they were entering the building, Applewood received a tornado warning. I had to whisk them down to the fitness center for safety. It was several hours before the all clear was sounded, and they left and never returned. The craziest was, I had a widowed musician from Boston who had us paint the rooms of his large apartment in different neon colors, pink, purple, green. Then he backed out 2 days before his move-in. Can you imagine me trying to resell that apartment? That's a true story.
Well, all that makes me feel a little better. Bye, Christine. Thank you so much.
Bye, Rebecca.
Beep, 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 beep.
Hello, Rebecca.
Oh, Christine, I hate to do this to you.
What's wrong?
The buyer of our house has just backed out of the deal. Can we put everything on hold?
Oh, sure, I can work with that.
It was often an issue of whether you could bring your pet or not. And again, it was a matter of just ask Christine about Priscilla, Phoebe, and Emma. Once we newly arrived here at Applewood, sometimes there would be surprises, good and bad. In the good department, you learned about the benefits of living in this community. The first folks you probably met were members of Applewood's terrific staff. Steve, Dan, Janasia, Susie, Donna, Peggy, and Kelly. In the event of a blizzard, you learned you no longer had to clear off your car or the pathway. If the electricity in your apartment went off, you discovered you could make coffee at an outlet in the corridor and even warm a muffin. Your meals were another benefit of living here at Applewood. Your meals were planned, purchased, prepared, served, and cleared away by the labors of chefs Griff, Adam, and Jim, and hostess Ann and her team of wait staff. You learned that all of Applewood was cared for by our maintenance and housekeeping teams, headed by Joe and Debbie. Next slide. She looks like she's offering incantations to the lawn goddess, but she's actually checking the sprinkler system. Thank you. Your apartment was cleaned weekly or bi-weekly by the housekeeping staff. Michelle, Tina, Dulcinea, Alex, and your hairdresser was right on site if you so chose. I wonder who's that under the towel. Applewood's van, with drivers Jeff or David, took you to medical appointments, shopping areas, and evening theater events. An annual outing was blueberry picking by residents and staff. Who, throughout the year, often shared treats in a resident's apartment. Notice the muffins or something. So it's time to be honest about all this good eating. Would you take out the lyrics to song number 1 to the tune of the caissons rolling along? And thanks to Jerry Weinstein and Edith Favos, we are going to sing this together. Dinner time is drawing near. We're approaching the Applewood 10. Dinner time is complete. If we finish with a sweet, we are gaining the Applewood 10. There is cake and pie, and today's ice cream to try. Whipped cream and fudge and nuts again. As we eat all those, our buttons will not close. We are wearing the Applewood 10. There were always a few misconceptions once one got to Applewood. Here's a true story that happened about 5 years ago.
Good night, Lacey.
Good night, John.
You know, we've only been here a month, and already we've met some interesting people and had some very nice events.
Well, yes, I'm so glad we came to Applewood, you know, especially, I don't have to cook dinner at night. That's one of the best things. You know, I told you, it was my time to retire. I'm, speaking of which, it's time to retire.
Yeah, well, and the other nice thing is it's so quiet and so peaceful.
What's that?
I think it must be a fire
Oh
alarm.
my gosh, what do we do? Oh, I know. In the Applewood book, I think there's instructions. No,
There's no time, we have to get out.
yes, we have to leave.
Well, we have to get out. Okay, let's run down the stairs, We're out in
It's cold,
in the parking lot, and it's cold.
Where is everybody?
And you know, there's nobody else here. Oh, but here comes a fire engine. And
Thank goodness.
the fire chief said, it's okay, go back in. It was a false alarm.
Well, this is a pretty dramatic way to start our life at Applewood. Thank you very much.
to learn to share the property with the other critters who live here. Chipmunks, rabbits, foxes, monarch butterflies, and skunks. Ask Martha about the skunk that visited her living room. And even bear. That's my apartment. Applewood has been known for the active engagement, whoops, of the critters.
It's not pyramids.
Yeah. Active engagement of its residents, who are always adding things to do here, as our bulletin boards make clear. Each year, we have our annual boutique, organized by 2 residents and carried out by almost everyone else. It's our in-house, high-end yard sale to help Applewood's country store keep its prices reasonable. Residents and staff lined up for the start of the sale. Well, they sometimes ended up arm wrestling for a certain item. I need a 1 that time. We participated in the infrequent solar eclipse. That's Rhoda with her head inside a cereal box. That's me. We have opportunities to play music, such as chimes. That was the beginning of Happy Birthday, I think. And thanks to Joan Levitt with helpers to pass out programs, we can just listen and enjoy music. We have indoor concerts and, weather permitting, outdoor concerts with Stephen Page, guests, and our own Steve Ostrowski. There have been many exhibits in the garden room where residents and even staff have had a chance to display artwork that they have produced. The garden room is currently showing a fine exhibit of the history of the Arboretum. Applewood has also had many opportunities to discuss important issues with each other. Discussion groups such as Being Mortal began reading Atul Gawande's book in 2014 and have continued with other works such as When Breath Becomes Air and Finish Strong. Current Affairs has met weekly, sometimes with an egg timer, 3-minute egg timer to control the debate. A climate crisis group started up in the spring of 2020, along with a weekly men's group. The Promoting Diversity group Democracy in Action group started in 2017 with the Women's March to DC and has continued monthly with guest speakers and many letter writing projects to help preserve democracy and voting rights throughout our country. See if you can find yourself in one of these pictures. There's Jane. The Promoting Diversity group began 5 years ago and will start up again soon as this thing is over. An ongoing subgroup is committed to reading the works by authors of color, currently The Sum of Us by Heather McPhee. Other Applewood activities have included the Wednesday Walking Group with Esther and others, including Pablo, who has pawed a short doggerel he has asked me to share. Sorry, my pages are stuck. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree with its ever-beckoning bark. Hark, hark, hippity, hop, hop, boy. I lift my leg and leave a spray. Hooray, hooray, but then they say, good boy, for what I am is a doggy boy. I know someone who named her dog 5 miles, so she could say, I walked 5 miles today. At Applewood, other groups have met for classes in the fitness center, ping pong, quilting, games, bridge, bingo, chess, and cribbage, as well as opportunities to do flower arranging for the tables in our dining room, and with the kind assistance of John, woodworking in Applewood's workshop. Applewood has offered many ways to enjoy nature. The tavern garden has been faithfully cared for by Francis. She has some wretched gout weed for sale cheap. This monarch is taking on. We have been fortunate to have the Arboretum and the Holyoke Range trails up to the Hadley reservoirs and beyond, which offer us access to the outdoors. This is our Arboretum hardworking team. Diane, Jill, Clarice, and Anne. Okay, more Arboretum images. And these are our dwarf conifers, which are a gift from Jack and Margaret. Then there's the gift of Joe's Way, provided by Dot Gavin. And thanks to Buddy, easy access to Atkins Donuts. Getting across Bay Road to visit the Eric Carle Museum and the Hampshire College campus got a lot easier thanks to the efforts of Ann Can and Elizabeth Davis. Elizabeth, I for you.
Is it on?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Look to the right, look to the left, and dash across Bay Road. That's what it was like for 28 years, walking across Bay Road with no crosswalk and traffic getting ever heavier. Dear Mary Catherine made that walk every day, striking fear into the hearts of her friends. 16 years ago, Ann Can, with her husband Michael, began mighty efforts to persuade the town to install crosswalks. The seed had been planted. 4 years ago, Ann Can and I and other residents mobilized for another try for a crosswalk. Rob Claflin, former executive director, supported our efforts, with the town making arrangements with the town's public works director to have meetings at Applewood. Nancy Eddy made contacts with many town officials seeking their support for the crosswalk. The crosswalk ball was rolling forward, and today you can see the result, a brightly painted crosswalk with flashing stoplights. Now Applewood residents, staff, and visitors can safely walk across Bay Road for walks and other events. To quote a parody of Shakespeare on my t-shirt, to cross the road or not to cross the road, that is the question. The answer is yes, at last.
Thank you. Applewood's annual and occasion festivities included the 4th of July, Halloween. This is Dorothy with little red shoes. Do you know who this is? No. It's the person who's in the next picture. Christine. Oh. Both of those. This is Nathan and Terry. Nathan has Tinkerbell. Lots of donuts. And staff appreciation is an annual event. As is New Year's Eve. And at least once, a wedding. Oh. At first, a dramatic sequel to A.R. Gurney's Love Letters, read by David and Tori. And then, on April 8th, 2018, an actual wedding. Which took most of us by surprise. our own David Nealon, resident at the time, and his bride Tori McCumbee, both of whom are now back on the wait list, we hope will be residents here someday. More. Sometimes, over the years, there have been differences of opinion at Applewood. One involved a lively, heated debate about whether to have a gazebo or a pergola in the east courtyard. It was finally resolved by a vote by residents, and the pergola, as you can see, won. Another lively, ongoing issue has concerned heat versus air conditioning.
It's the middle of the summer, and I am frozen. I don't know whether to be angry or cry. What am I going to do?
Oh, here, this may help.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh. Stunning. Yes. What am I going to do? I'm like, I'll probably get hypothermia and end up in the hospital. I think I might sue Applewood, maybe. Do you have any suggestions for me? Only thing I can think of is if I had somebody to warm up my bed at night. But it's a very long time since I've had anybody warming my bed at night. Oh my goodness. I don't know what I'm going to do. I hope I don't die.
Got the wrong
It should say Applewood in winter.
Nobody's perfect. Sorry. Wrong slide.
Debbie, come quickly. I need you. There's no time for a work order. This is a crisis. What kind of crisis? A thermostat crisis. Yes, thermostat. I am melting. I've never been so hot, even after 40 years in Georgia. The windows are open, the refrigerator's open. I can't take any more clothes off. Yes, send John. Tell him he has to keep his eyes closed because I'm wearing a bathing suit. You don't understand? I forgot. This is your first winter at Applewood.
One thing we did agree on was the need for Applewood to be more energy efficient. Most of the light bulbs at Applewood have now been switched to LED. Nancy, when did you say you got yours changed?
Roland was after me for 2 years, and I finally changed the LED bulbs in my own lights. But just last week, Debbie changed the bulbs in my bathroom.
Roland says to check if the bulb is LED, touch it. If it burns your fingers, it's not LED and needs to be changed. Conservation efforts by Applewood more recently have included requiring electric mowers and contracting to participate with Reed's Landing in receiving electricity from 7 local solar fields. It's time for another song. Please get out your lyrics to Applewood to the tune of Edelweiss. Thanks again to Jerry and Edith. We're so happy to be here. All the same, it's a shame. Nothing seems to be free here. We play with cheer, but it's more next year. More and more forever. Applewood, dear Applewood, you've grown dearer and dearer. Starting in March 2020, there were many changes at Applewood. Folks worked very hard to keep us all safe. Remember these memos from Marge, Rob, Lou, and do you remember this? We're clearly out of compliance right now. It either had to be 6 feet apart, or a hockey stick apart, or a cow apart. We all took, well, soon after, we needed masks, but before we had official masks, residents displayed their own devices for protection. 7 Applewood residents worked tirelessly over several weeks to sew more than 300 masks for Applewood staff and residents, and even sent a box of 50 masks to the Navajo Nation. We all took wearing masks very seriously. To honor our graduating high school wait staff, thanks to Ann Winterhill's efforts, Applewood held an outdoor celebration to acknowledge their accomplishments. The Applewood Fire Department even sent an engine as part of the festivities. Clearly, we have some kind of an in with the fire department. Perhaps it's because they come here so often. Our staff devised various ways to keep our spirits up. Craft projects, Friday afternoon ice cream delivery, cookies, lemonade, an antique auto drive-by, beer for Father's Day, and a carnival with sponge sugar and the opportunity to dunk Christine or Griff or members of the wait staff. How many of you were able to dunk someone? I dunked Griff. Having all of our meals delivered to our apartments created a lot of material to be recycled, including items that the residents provided for themselves. Our annual blueberry muffin breakfast for residents and staff had to be held outdoors under a tent. And activities were limited were limited to 10 participants at a time. Some of the activities continued, but just in smaller amounts. Others were brand new offerings initiated by residents. One of those was reading Shakespeare's plays. Val provided the scripts for all of us, and these are the plays on her back that we haven't read yet, but we've read a lot of them. They've all been presided over by a Shakespeare who came originally from Anne Hathaway's cottage in Stratford-on-Avon, and he is carrying Macbeth, Hamlet, and Romeo and Juliet in his home. Another thing that we did was to up the showing of commercial films. So thanks to Lenore, who was one of our projectionists. This is real. Oh, real, yes. Lenore, Jill, Val, Roland, and moi showed a lot of commercial films. We went, the Thursday ones were also shown on Friday, the Saturday ones were also shown on Sunday, and it was a way to help residents to have some escape from being in just our bubble. Documentaries, docudramas, TV series, informational videos, lectures continued, as did videos on dance. Movie classics and Saturday afternoon offers were added to provide out-of-apartment diversions. A group dedicated to learning from C-SPAN book interviews started up, while an Applewood writing group limited to 10 continued to meet. A new group formed to address concerns for healthy landscaping at Applewood, along with a new group for Tai Chi. Watch closely. That's the only slide we could get to move. Saturday AM talks continued, but via Zoom, a new experience for many of us. These are just some of the topics and the titles. Thank you. The death of George Floyd brought many Applewood residents out of their apartments. About 70 participants lined the sides of Bay Road with signs calling for racial justice. I'm going to have to call you back in a minute, because you'll have to play 30 minutes. There's still a lot of work to do.
Thank you. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Susan.
Applewood prepared for the 100th anniversary of women's suffrage by making white skirts. We sewed about 30 of them. with sashes. We decorated hats and printed a banner. We'll get there. Then 100 years to the day, August 26, 2020, we had a parade, music with suffrage songs and an overview of the suffrage movement's history. Take a look at Dot's hat, homemade, turn around, Dot, from a regular hat and a pillowcase. Yay! Vaccinations for all the Loomis communities took place in January and February of 2021. Folks on Applewood's wait list were also included if they lived close enough. This year, 2021, in particular, has been full of transitions. We've lost dear friends and colleagues and gained many new residents and staff. We've celebrated Rob Claflin, Applewood's director for 21 years, replaced now by Lou Inicelli. We're glad Rob is with us today, looking very rested, I must say. Alan's position has gone to Tammy, and Brian's to Debbie. We're not even sure about our masks. It is clearly not time yet to hang them up. We do know that change is inevitable, except from a vending machine. Now, thanks to our terrific stage crew, Mimi, Jill, and Roland, in a scenario that sums up one of our universal experiences, we bring you dining at Applewood. This is going to take a few minutes to set up. We're missing a cast member who's driving over from her high school in Granby.
Anne's gonna fill in.
You're going to be. That's it. Yes. Do come in. Yes.
Good evening, come on in, welcome. I hope you're all hungry tonight. Got a great menu on tonight, and I would like to introduce you to our newest resident, Jake.
Hi, everybody.
I think we can finally take our masks off.
Oh, two hearing aids still.
Pleased to meet you, Jake.
Same here.
And I'm Jeanette. And where are you from?
Jersey City, New Jersey.
Jake, I'm delighted to meet you. I'm Sarah, but everybody calls me Bubbles.
Well, I
Your
have good
name has
news.
your name has some connection to soap.
Well, just, washing our hands and all these bubbles all the time.
Okay.
I have some good news and I have some bad news. The good news is, I'm gonna start you off with some bread. It's a little crispy because it's a couple days old. Okay, but if you put lots of butter on it, it's really tasty. All right? The bad news is, all of my servers called out tonight. They told me they had a school project and they were meeting at the movie theater, so I couldn't understand that. And then they said after that, they were all meeting to continue their project at Taco Bell. So I'm your server tonight.
And I'll take my usual slice of multi-grain bran and, envelope.
And an envelope. Okay, I'll get you your envelope.
Does the bread have nutmeg in it?
I don't know, but I can find out.
Oh, never mind. I never eat bread.
Can I have an envelope also?
Sure.
Are you going to mail it to somebody?
No, you asked for an envelope or a baggie if you want to have it for lunch tomorrow.
Eating a baggie?
Well, I'm not as good as the waitstaff are, so you're gonna have to be a little patient with me, okay? They're the professionals, but I'll do my best to fill in tonight. So our vegetables tonight are Havana turnip cubes, chopped artichokes, and broccoli flour, okra, beans, and Chinese peas. Our starches are polenta, grits, and trice-cooked potatoes. Soup and entrees are on your menu. Who would like to start? Anyone ready?
What's broccoli flour?
I'm not sure, but the assistant chef said it's broccoli that's grown underground. Should I go back and ask him?
No, don't bother. I'll have a seasonal salad with tomatoes on the side. Unsliced, of course.
Of course.
How were those potatoes cooked? I mean, I can understand twice, but thrice?
I can ask if you'd like.
Never mind, I never eat potatoes.
You know what I want.
Yes, a half a glass of BH, an omelet, and fruit cup.
A fruit cup with no pineapple. And thank you so much for your patience with us.
I'm sorry. I'm embarrassed because I don't remember the vegetables. Can you repeat them?
You don't remember the vegetable choices? Welcome to Applewood.
So, at this moment, oh no, are you gonna offer dessert?
I am.
Yes, all right.
That's the best part of the
We'll
meal,
come back
is
to
the
the
dessert.
vegetables.
So, this week's dessert are listed on the card on your table. And our ice cream flavors tonight are chocolate gooey gooey, vanilla slush, Texas blend, and elephant foot. The frozen yogurt is sweet and sour, and the sherbet has no name.
I'll take the nameless sherbet.
Of course.
To save you time, I'll order for Jeanette too. We will divide a gooey gooey to eat here and the cookies to go. Any chance I could have a banana too?
Of course you can. You can have two if you'd like. I do have a bunch available if you would like.
Even better. Thank you.
Boy, this staff is really impressive here. They seem to know your needs and pleasures as well as your names. They really seem to care.
And we can thank one person for that, Ann Winterhell, who has
Thank you.
She even subbed for the waitress tonight. So it is time to sing together the vegetable song to the tune of Reuben, Reuben. So thanks again to Jerry and Edith. Would you could just stay there and sing. Just stay there. Way to go. I did.
Celery, peppers, and tomatoes, corn and kale we have today. Oh, I try so hard to listen, sometimes memories gone astray. Artichokes and cauliflower, kidney beans and Brussels sprouts. Though I thought I heard you clearly, now I think I have my doubts. Rice, pilaf, beans and lentils, mushrooms, okra, beans and peas. I regret that I've forgotten. Kindly do repeat them, please. Acorn, squash, and baked potatoes, eggplant, cabbage, green or red. Would you mind repeating those? I can't remember what you said. Carrots, spinach, and zucchini, broccoli, turnips, cukes, and beets. Since that's too much to remember, I'll just have a bit of each.
For our finale, we're going to be singing my favorite things. We all know we are not the Vienna Boys Choir. And I just would like to point out that there's going to be a pause in your lyrics before the final phrases, when the joints ache. So watch Edith. Okay. Your mic has died, okay. Try this one. It's on. It says it.
Maylocks and nose drops and letters unwritten, walkers and handrails and firm chairs for sitting, old cards and letters all tied up with strings. These are foods with onions, books with large print, and old songs we can sing. These are a few of my favorite things. Backaches, confused brains, and no fear of sinning. Thin bones and fractures, and hair that is thinning. Short shrunken frames that each new decade brings. Still we remember our favorite things. When the joys ache, when the hips break, when I'm feeling sad, I simply recall all the joys of my life, and then I don't feel so bad. I simply recall all the joys of my life, and then I don't feel so bad.
Huge thanks to our musicians, pianist Jerry Weinstein and Edith Fabos, our choral director. We hope you enjoyed these bites of Life at Applewood. And I think some of our cast is still out in the hallway if they would like to come forward and have you clap again for them. Any cast out there?
Before you all go, I think it would be lovely to say a big thank you to Nancy, Eddie, and Sandy for leading us through this collective romp and a wonderful synopsis of our last few years here in this remarkable place, made remarkable by the people who work and live here. I